Today we're diving into something a little different, a long-term review of the Roborock S5, a robot vacuum that I've used in my personal apartment for over 5 years. My name is Patrick. I'm a worship pastor and a content creator living in NYC. And as they say, cleanliness is next to godliness, or just cleanliness. It's like a good idea. When robot vacuums became more popular, I was obsessed with getting one, and nobody sent me this vacuum. I bought it with my own money.
How's bragging camp going?
And it was not cheap, but spoiler alert, I don't regret the purchase at all. So why a long time review? Well, most gadgets don't stick around long enough to make it to a long-term review because they're usually replaced by something newer or better. However, the Roborock S5 is a different story. Despite being a bit pricey at around $550, its performance and durability over the years make it one of my favorite purchases for both my apartment and the offices I've purchased it for and the other locations I've purchased it for. I love it. Yes, there are newer models. Will I ever get one? Of course, but right now this has lasted me a long time, so I figured it was something that other people might want to hear about. 5 years in, and the Roborock S5 is still, like I said, going strong. I use it every single day, and I haven't noticed any drop in battery life or suction power. Surprisingly, it seems to get better with each software update as well. I can even control it with Google at this point. I can just say, start my vacuum. Yes, his name is Carl Murphy. What, you don't name your vacuum? Put some respect on his name. Like I said, I love Carl. Carl is great. He's part of the family, but 5 years of use hasn't been perfect. Nothing is perfect for 5 years. There have been a few hiccups along the way. So one day I started the vacuum like I always do, and a few minutes into the cleaning, I smelled like melting plastic. So I stopped the vacuum, of course, because that was the only appliance really running, and I contacted customer service, and a new unit was sent to me. Since then, I have not had an issue like that at all. I've also purchased this unit, like I said, for other offices and apartments, and nothing that serious has happened again. So while I want to be honest about my experience, I cannot imagine that this is the norm. I also have friends with robot vacuums, specifically Roborock S5s, and none of them have reported this. So this is not the norm, but I did want to mention it. Well, hey there. I get asked all the time, how does your stuff look and sound so consistently good? And if you're asking that question, well, I have a free resource for you that's going to help you out. If you visit iampatrickmurphy.com/gear, I have a working document of every piece of gear I use to create the content you're viewing or listening to right now. Now, what do I mean by working document? Every time I try something new or buy something new, I add it to this list if I am using it. So you're always up to date with what you need to create the content that you should, because everyone should be creating. You have something to say, but you're not saying it, you're not filming it, you're not recording it because you don't know what you need to get that done. Well, that problem is now solved. Visit iampatrickmurphy.com/gear to get my list of gear and get started creating. Let's jump back into this episode, and I hope you have a great day. So that was a fluke, but having a product this long is going to require some upkeep, especially with something like a vacuum. But maintaining it is pretty straightforward. I clean the filter, I clean the brush. I do that every few weeks, and it just keeps things running smoothly, but sometimes not even regular upkeep will solve an issue. Replacement brushes, bins, and filters have been purchased by me personally on Amazon. They're not super expensive. They're really cost effective. And sometimes the bin or the brush, it just gets too gross to clean. So you want to just go ahead and buy a new one. Also, the motor inside the vacuum isn't going to last forever, and I learned this the hard way. This is the only actual part I've had to replace on the vacuum. Again, not expensive. And obviously, companies don't normally like you opening their products to fix them. They just want you to buy a new one. Planned obsolescence is an actual thing. So finding the part and instructions for how to replace it wasn't easy, but if I can do it, you can do it. So I added the link for that replacement motor below in case you need to replace yours. And while you're down there, go ahead and click subscribe if you're liking this video. And speaking of liking this video, every time I log into Zoom or post content like this, I get comments on how professional my setup looks. So I created this free document that I update every time I change something in my setup. It's a working document. I update it regularly. It has all the gear I use so that you can get your setup looking like mine. Get it locked in. Click the link below in my description for this working document for absolutely free, or visit iampatrickmurphy.com/setup to get my gear list. It's gonna help you out. The Roborock S5 has an app that works alongside it called Me Home, which also interacts with all the other Roborock vacuums. It makes your experience even better. It sets like a map of your home as it's moving through your apartment or your office. It's saving this map, making repeat cleaning sessions more efficient. It also lets you know when the vacuum needs to be updated, cleaned, maintained, things like that. It also allows you to select whether you're mopping or vacuuming. Truth be told, I've never been thrilled with the mopping features on robot vacuums until recently. In more recent models, within the past 5 years, of course, the hardware has obviously gotten better. It cleans itself now. It empties the dirty mop water, and it does even more than that. But on older models like the S5, all it does with the mop feature is basically give the floor a quick shine with wet, potentially soapy water. And this is great, but I'm jealous of the mopping features in recent models in recent years. This might be one of the reasons I upgrade, but I don't need to yet because this thing has lasted me so long. However, a word of caution. Like most robot vacuums, the S5 can get stuck on small objects left on the floor. So newer models will see objects on the floor and move around them, but it's best with an older model like the Roborock S5 to do a quick sweep and get rid of socks, toys, especially things like under the couch that you may not see, and especially cables, before letting it run its course. Long story short, will the Roborock S5 replace your main vacuum? For some people, yes, but for most, no. However, knowing that I can leave my house while the vacuum is running is huge. Knowing I can put my feet up and let the vacuum run its course while I watch a TV show at a very loud volume so it covers up the sound of the vacuum. I love that. That makes things so easy. And having 3 boys in a 1,000 square foot apartment, pray for me, by the way, 3 boys. 1,000 square feet. God, help me! Anyway, it means that there are crumbs everywhere until I say, start my vacuum. I still love that. Click the link below and check it out, but before you leave, don't forget to watch this video.